What's up, guys? My name is Michael, and I'm helping you moving into the new Earth 5D. So in this video, I want to talk about something that is still a little bit radical and still not really. The masses are not in yet. Escaping the financial matrix and how Bitcoin can set you free in the 5D. And I have a few topics that I really like to share with you, and so I hope you stay through the whole video, because in the end you will have a clear picture of how you can use it and why you should use it. And it's not just Bitcoin, but let's say we use Bitcoin as the dominator, the daddy. So first of all, the first thing that I really like with this and with crypto of all is that you become your own bank. And when you're on your own bank, you literally are in control of your own financial system. There is no one that can really go in and tell you what to do and not to do. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies make you empowered to take care of your own financial needs. A lot of people come from the old paradigm, which is a lot of victimization in it, which means that they can't take care of their own money. And that's how the system has been going for hundreds of years. We're like, oh yeah, I give up my own power by giving you my money, and I'm trusted you will take care of it. That has gone so far. In the beginning, banks really did a job with protecting your money from other people that came and robbed them with whatever, and they ensure that your money stay there. But it's gone so far that the banks has become privileged in the sense of what they're doing. Literally, this happens to anyone, and I will explain what I mean by this. What happens in humans when they've done something long enough is that they feel that they no longer want to do it. They have kind of grown out of that position in their life. Maybe you at some point were really fulfilled by running your business or just having a job, but then you came to a point where I don't want to do this anymore, because it's evolution within your consciousness that makes you seek something else. This happens to the banks too. When they've been doing something for a long time, they don't really want to do the stuff that they're doing. And I speak from a place where I know this because I used to have businesses, and I came to a point where no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep doing this thing, because there was a need inside of me that said that I wanted to go out and explore and grow spiritually. So what happens is that the banks are literally feeling entitled to take care of your money, which means that they are now don't want to do their job, basically. And what happens when they don't want to do their job? They literally try to limit you to use your money so they can work less. So they can do less. They want everything on automatic. They want everything to just flow, and they don't want problems. They don't want your problem. They don't want you to even call. That's why there is no often number to call. You can't even visit them. You can't go there. They're closing off. They're closing off using the money, the cash, because it's we're being robbed, moving all of this money everywhere, filling up the ATMs and taking care of it doesn't matter what it is. It will come to a point where people I don't want to do it anymore. It's evolution. It's a higher consciousness. And this happens to banks. So what happens now is that they are limiting other people's transactions. They are I'm from Sweden, and this happens in Sweden. This happened to me multiple times. They are alienating you and making you feel like you're a criminal for using cash. They are making sure that you don't do it by limiting the cash itself, for example. And they're also, I've seen this so many times, where they're yeah, you've been transferring money back in here. Prove to us where the money comes from. Even if you earned it from your job, they're yeah, where does it come from? Which tells your subconscious that you are not safe. So in my hallucination, I see the banks is now literally chokeholding themselves by doing all of these things. Because in the end, people will be so annoyed and I don't want to do this. I feel like a criminal when I go to the bank. Like, what's going on? You're limiting my transactions, and then you ask me for where I got the money from, and blah 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 blah, all of these things. So in my hallucination, banks are going to have to switch into the crypto space where everything is gonna flow on auto. Everything's gonna be on auto. So the traditional banking system, in my opinion, will have to tank. It has to go down. At some point, it has to. So when you become your own bank, you have your own interest in mind, and therefore you will always take care of it if you know how to do it. It's also an aspect like my own responsibility, what am I worth, and all blah blah blah, all of these things that you have to work on as a person. So when you go into the 5D, you are all going to be aware about your own financial wealth, your own financial health, which means it's also connected to your deep-rooted beliefs about who you think you are and where you're going and what you're going to do with the money and how you're going to live your life. There's a lot of freedom in being in your own bank. Is that making sense when I explain it this way? And in my hallucination, I don't see the world going any other way. Even if this will take time, you are now the first or one of the first people that maybe even think this way. So if you're watching this video, congratulations, because you're going towards that type of behavior. And when you do this before everyone else, you're going to be in a position where you are far away ahead of other people. Even if you have zero money in your bank right now and you just have this awareness, you are going to win the game. The people that are going to lose the game are the people that are going to be ignorant. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is pain. Ignorance is pain. We've been taught that ignorance is bliss, and I'm just gonna like live my life. And you know the guy in Matrix that kind of like, I want to go back sleeping. I want to be rich. I don't want to remember anything. Blah 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 blah. I don't know if you've seen the first Matrix movie. That is not bliss. I tell you, it's pain. So now when we've gone in a little bit about being your own bank, then we can talk a little bit about the fiat currency that we already right now have. And fiat currency is literally like euro, dollar, yen, or whatever. This money that the governments made up and that they can print and that they control, and then that everything that they do, it's a fiat-based system. They have it's called a debt system, and it's all based on debt. And it can be printed, which means that you can have more money printed in the system, and when you print more money, you dilute the value of it. And what we see from the past, like if we look at other, even civilizations back in time, is that when a civilization grows and it reaches a peak and then it falls. And this happens to all the fiat-based systems that humans are involved in, which means that the human can touch and manipulate. Because when a human can touch and manipulate this, it means that their fear and greed is involved in the currency. And when we as humans are running that system, we will make sure, we will play out the feelings we have inside of us. So if we have greed, we will print more, and therefore, I get more. But what we don't really realize, even if we logically know it, is that in the end, it will devalue the system. And it's just like, if you don't believe this, go out and see how much you got from the dollar 10 years ago. Just 10 years ago. Compared to how much you got from the dollar 10 years ago and how much you get now for the dollar. It has probably devalued many, many, many times, and it will keep devalue. This is how the system works. So in the end, look at Venezuela, for example, and other countries out there that their system is not working. It's because they devalued. Look at World War II. What did Hitler do? He printed more money. And in the end, you can come with a wheelbarrow and you have a lot of cash. Like, look what happened also partly in India once. They were like on the street and burning cash and throwing. It's because they devalued the system and they need to reboot it. The crypto and Bitcoin specifically is the opposite of that. That means that you can't print more Bitcoin. There will always be a set amount to all people on Earth, which means that it will go the other way. Bitcoin will always be more and more and more expensive the more people that comes in and going to have to use it. This is what excites me so much, because most people will never have even one Bitcoin. So if you have one Bitcoin, then you'll be on top of the world, basically. So now when you understand that they can print, and every time they print, they stimulate the system, and all of a sudden they devalue the system long term. Like, you will have to pay more in the end for the food. Why we have this inflation, which is, by the way, it's a tax. It's actually a tax that they do to get your money. Like, why we have inflation is it's an unregulated tax that you have to pay more for everything. Every year, everything becomes more and more expensive, and they have it at 2%, right? But that's not. And they say that maybe it's on 5%, but all of a sudden it's actually on 10 or 15. The real numbers. In this new earth, you need to educate yourself. You need to be the master of your own finances. You need to take back control over your own finances. You need to be the one that takes the decisions to invest, put the money to work, and understand money is just a tool that will make your life easier, and it will give you food on the table, but it's not happiness, for example. And when you need to be the master of your own money, that will put you in the driver's seat in your life. And you need to trust who? Yourself, more than you put a trust in the government, for example. The government is not there for your best, highest intentions. I can tell you right now, and maybe this will blow your mind, or you're like, what? It's not? The government doesn't care about us? The government cares about itself, and the government cares about function as self. And how does the government function? It even gone to the point where all the taxes in America right now is not covering their depth. So the America has a depth up here, and the taxes supposed to pay this debt off. It doesn't even pay off that anymore because the debt is too high. So the system is crashing. And that does that because of people that don't know what they're doing. So why should you trust the government if they are crashing the system and they don't even know that they're doing it? They don't even know what they're doing. They just do something because they came here to Earth just like you without a manual, and they do something that they believe to be true, but maybe they are not aware of what they're doing. They just believe that they do it for the best cause, but the best cause is maybe not the best. And when we know this, we're like, you know what? I'm gonna place the bet on who? Me. Just like Snoop Dogg. I want to thank me for doing the work. I want to thank me. I love him, by the way. And here, in the next thing that I have is I want you to open up to an endless, and I'm saying endless possibilities in the new earth. Endless possibilities in the new earth, and understand, make you excited about going into the new earth financial paradigm. You are still early. Even if you would have zero of any crypto right now, Bitcoin or whatever, and you would go in and you would like buy $100 of it, you are ahead of 90 something % of the world. You will be the top number few % in a few years of time. Understand that you are you are going into something that has endless amount of money, basically. Because in the end, in my hallucination, all of the money needs to flow into crypto. Crypto eats money, like Pac-Man. Crypto eats money. I know it myself because I put money into it, and it eats my money, like this. But it also is an amplifier of it. Does that make sense? It's on the blockchain, it's secured, and if you have the keys, you are the bank. If you lose your keys, not your wallet, I used to say. So here you need to be really aware of the things so you get your keys right, so you have it. It's a very empowering feeling to know that, oh, I have my stuff and I have it. I know, here's my keys. My keys are in here. The rest of it is on the blockchain. And the only way you can get my money is to either try to manipulate, force me, or like do anything, and therefore it makes it very, like, in a way, secure. But it also opened up it can open up a lot of insecurities around it, because it's not what we used to do. We used to give our power away, right? And now we have to take back the power. We have to make sure that we are not being manipulated and lied to. And we have to take back all of that. We have to take back the trust. And it's a great feeling. It's an amazing feeling. But at some point we have to go, like, I remember I had a point where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be it was something that appealed to me to be my own bank. And I've been in this since 2017, sometimes around this 2017 bull run. And it's just been a very empowering situation. People said that I was crazy. What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. These people will be the ones that look up to you later. Like, what? How did you do it? And the last thing that I want to talk about is very, very, very important, because it's about risk. It's same with life and everything you do. If you don't risk, like, you can't win anything. No risk, no reward. And that's with all of life. It's not just in anything. When you take a risk in your own life and you say, I'm going to go for this thing, the universe is listening, and all of a sudden it's being shown to you. You only risk when you don't know what you're doing. I will say it again. You only risk something when you don't know what you're doing. So what does that mean? Education. Education on yourself, on the blockchain, on what you're doing, how you do things. All of a sudden you are taking power back by educating yourself. There is no risk when you know what you're doing. It's only risky when you have no idea what you do. And many times those times will be the bad times, because you just throw yourself into something. No, do your research, sit with it, educate, go to events, talk to people, take a coach, whatever that is. Do everything in your power to make sure that you set yourself free. I want you to come out of this video and you're like, you know what? By doing this, I set myself free. When I hear Bitcoin, I hear freedom. When I hear Bitcoin, I hear I'm going to set myself free. I'm going to start up my own wallet, and I'm going to be my own bank, and I'm going to start my journey. If that is the main point with this video, if you can take that from this video, you are far away ahead than other people. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe so I can do more of these. Protocols are down below, and I see you in the next video.